So apparently today we're talking about taking over Cuba, as that's the headline. Trump teases, quote, friendly takeover of Cuba. That's what's going on. Not only do you have the Cuba situation, we keep moving military assets into the Middle East surrounding Iran. Second, U.S. aircraft carrier approaches Middle East as nuclear deal with Iran remains elusive. And then here's the big one with regarding Iran. They started pulling out people. U.S. and U.K. diplomats pulled diplomats from the Middle East as Iran war fear rises. Usually this is the last thing that you'll see, and then they'll start the shooting, basically. When you hear what Trump has to say, listen for yourself.
Your team told you that if you use the military now, that there will be regime change right away?
No, nobody's told me that. You don't know. I mean, nobody knows that. There might be and there might not be. It'd be nice if we could do it without, but sometimes you have to do it with. When you looked at we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. There's nothing close. I'd love not to use it, but sometimes you have to.
And it's like we've seen this same song and dance for years in the USA. And I'll just point to just recent history with Iraq and Afghanistan, where you're spending trillions of dollars on this stuff. And basically what Trump is talking about now is, I'll just put it in the most blunt words possible, just bankrupt the country, where you divert all of your resources to these foreign wars and acting on behalf of, particular interests. I'll leave it that way, and doesn't necessarily benefit the people of the United States. And then you get your Fox News and all those people on that side going, guys, we got the greatest military in the world. Why do you question our military might? And the way this plays out is, yeah, sure, the USA can drop as many bombs and destroy as much stuff, but then what then, right? And then the money gets funneled to him and his buddies for reconstruction contracts, and suddenly Trump hotels start popping up everywhere and golf courses, etc. Does that benefit you? When Trump puts his name on something else, does that benefit you? Of course it doesn't. And it's sad that anyone even falls for this stuff. And basically he's got these worm tons around him that manipulate him.
The Cuban government is talking with us. They're in a big deal of trouble, as you know. They have no money. They have no anything right now. But they're talking with us. And maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba. We could very well end up having a friendly takeover of Cuba.
What about the post?
After many, many years, we've had a lot of years of dealing with Cuba. I've been hearing about Cuba since I'm a little boy, but they're in big trouble, and we could very well, something good, I think very positive for the people that were expelled or worse from Cuba that live here. We have people living here that want to go back to Cuba, and they're very happy with what's going on.
And then times like these, it can't get any more obvious how he's working for just a select group of people, right? Maybe there's Marco Rubio and his buddies like, I think we should just go take over Cuba so my family can rise to power. Oh, wow, great. And then they'll give Trump, a special birthday cake or whatever, and something stupid, and say, oh, we'll build you a ballroom, let's take over Cuba. Oh, well, people are talking about taking over. It's like, what people? Just a couple people around you who donate to your campaign and hang out Rubio, whoever. And then a lot of stuff that you'll see in the USA, it's like problems that the USA causes, right? In this situation, cut off Venezuela from Cuba. Now we're talking about taking over Venezuela, and Cuba's struggling. They have power outages. I've been heard that they're just, it's a bad situation. I'll leave it at that. And, you could take a different policy route and just say, hey, we're going to open up trade with Cuba and have more relations that way, opposed to just, hey, we're just going to blockade Cuba, Venezuela, cut off, the people, and then I guess change the regime, and then suddenly we'll spend a bunch of money on nation building, and then everything will be great. Is that our plan? And it's frustrating to go through this stuff because it's always the same song and dance, where Fox News or whoever their ilk are will just say, guys, we got the greatest military in the world and we can destroy anything. And why do you question how much we can destroy? We're so great. And I just point to recent history. Man, how did that turn out, spending trillions on Iraq and Afghanistan? And what I'm thinking about today, honestly, is just, this is how you bankrupt the country, let alone the human aspect of what happens to people on the ground. The whole thing is terrible, and it's it's like a combination of arrogance of the U.S., the special interest, that this isn't working for necessarily the whole of the American people.
With the options that you've been briefed on for Iran, is there a risk that strikes could turn into a long, drawn-out conflict in the Middle East?
I guess you could say there's always a risk. You know, when there's war, there's a risk in anything, both good and bad. We've had tremendous luck with myself, Soleimani, al-Baghdadi. Everything's worked out, and then we do the Midnight Hammer and so many others. Everything's worked out, and we want to keep it that way, but we're going to see. Look, it'd be wonderful if they'd negotiate really in good conscience, good faith and conscience, but they are not getting there.
What's so obvious when you think about Fox News, how stupid they make everything. If you just read the bottom of the screen, this is from Fox, this is directly from them, who, you know, pumps Trump and all his followers, could have a friendly takeover of Cuba. It's like you have to explain this stuff to the way they use it. It's like talking to children. It's like, hey guys, we're going to go friendly takeover of Cuba. Isn't this just whacked out? And then you got this like other Chiron here. Trump, not happy with Iran, but more talks expected. Like, he used the most basic words possible. Trump's not happy and we need the friendly takeover of Cuba. It just feels like the dumbing down of USA and the bankrupting of the country. I just trying to put it in the most obvious terms because it's just so stupid. And then you look at also what else is happening right now. Pentagon standoff is a decisive moment of how AI will be used in war. And I feel like at this point, you have Trump and his, you know, minions and worm tongues trying to work in their special interests. And then I guess ultimately we're going to hand over the keys of the kingdom to the robots. And the goal of him and his people is we're going to get wealthy as quickly as we can. And then for any regular people concerned, we won't actually talk to regular people. We'll just ask the robot, what does the robot think? Oh, robot says attack. And that was actually in the thing we talked about yesterday, to where the robots would use nuclear weapons like 95% of the time, basically all the time. It's ridiculous, right? And this is from Fox News. Trump says he's not happy with the progress in Iran nuclear negotiations. Adds, I'd loved not to use the military, but sometimes you have to. It's clear to me that this is the worst president in history. I'll just be frank on that. And it's frustrating because, I mean, you look at the polling data on him. The last I've seen it, maybe his supporters, so that's what, 39 to 40% approval rating. Isn't it absolutely insane it's that high? And then again, they'll get you with, well, don't you love the flag? I mean, the flag is so great. Don't you love the military? And this is where we're at right now. I'll just say this: not everyone is on board with this stuff. But what's sad though is that they keep you in a state of just, it's unstable. People are struggling out there to just put food on the table, and then they just talk about waving the flag around and we have to support the military. And if you destroy education and destroy all social services, then people don't have enough time to even evaluate, like, why are we in such a predicament? And this is why. This is where all the money goes. So I know it's not fun to talk about what's happening right now. I just wanted to just tell you, I'm even in shock myself because it's going so quickly. We're talking about two different conflicts at the same time. If you want to say war is fine, which looks like probably what they're going to do. And that's where we're at. So I'll update you guys on what's going on in the markets in the next video, but I just wanted to just tell you about the situation in Iran and Cuba, and I'll catch you in the next video.